are made in these sort of friendships and small families, and that everybody really, really, really cares about everybody else so that they can do their best work.
We had that on this picture. There's so many people in this picture that I really cared about. And the only thing I know is humble before the task. And this thing that you bring up about, you know, is the bedeviling thing about tone. And I guess As Good as It Gets is the hardest picture that I ever got right, you know, because I think we just what you said, I think we had, you know, we just, and the music was so key in that. And here it was, I mean, we went for, there are any number of big block comedy scenes, and I was feeling more carefree about, it was written in a more carefree way. And then it was the only thing carefree. The writing was the only thing carefree. And I think that's probably the way it should be, you know, one person in a room. How much time do you spend in this room absolutely alone?
The majority of the time. Wow. I mean, whatever that is, and I spent ridiculous hours. Wow. We had one moment on this movie, which I think was actually a really lucky sort of moment. I'd gone over to Jim's office, and he was sitting around with the producers and said, "Hey, do you want to have a quick look at the trailer?" I said, "Sure, I'll look at the trailer." So I'm seeing the trailer, and Jim asked me what I thought of it, and I thought, "Oh, it's good, but I don't like the music. Maybe I should do something else." He said, "Good, but we have to deliver tomorrow morning." So, oops, you know, it basically meant engage and write 3 major themes now, instantly. Mm-hmm. So Jim came back here, and I think, you know, at 2 o'clock in the morning, you know, something really good started happening, and there was an energy to the whole thing, you know, as well. And you know, it focused everything we knew about the movie, and I think, you know, these sort of very concentrated moments where you come up with things, but you know, you want to come up, ideally, you know, you want to be in a place where you know enough about the movie that if you have the director in the room, and that you can create, as opposed to just being by yourself all the time and sort of like a little schoolboy writing behind your hand.
Certainly the trial and error on this picture, and what it, and the central, it's so strange because we did a new ending on the picture that you know, that was bedeviling. When we did test screenings, you know, the ending, the ending and how we got into it was always a problem on this picture. And when we did you know, and they were, you know, we always got our laughs, and the meat of it always worked, but whose journey it was up for grabs. Whose story was up for grabs, which I guess is, you know, shouldn't be, and all that stuff. And then, but what we finally came home to is, I think, real and romantic, which was, you know, which was always the mission statement. And funny was the mission statement. At the point that we start working together, and you have this script that I've worked on, I've done research for a year, and I've written it for a year, and when I go to Hans and he finally reads it, you know, you sort of, you have a movie in your head, and then I think everything after that is part of dispelling the movie you have in the head and going out and making the movie that you have to make.
But the same happens with me with music, you know.
Have you ever thrown out hunks of score?
I did. I don't know if you remember this, but I'll Do Anything. I finished a score, and then I dreamt a new score the night I finished it, and I actually went to you and I said, "You got to let me do this, because it's much better than that thing." And wow. And you know, and we were out of money, we were out of time, and yeah, you went to bat for me, you know, with the
wow.
Sony people, and you know, lo and behold, we were back in a recording studio with musicians, and it truly was much better. And there's no way I could ever have written that had I not dreamt it.
But you know,
but on this one too, I mean, you know, I had so many theories before we even started.
A gorgeous theme early. A gorgeous theme.
We had a good theme early, but not as early as, you know. I mean, all the stuff that I was thinking through, and actually, the first thing we had was the long shot of Paul standing in the street. You know, the reading the indictment from the lawyer. I mean, that was something that I had really early on and really quickly in it. I had literally just written it for preview, just to give Jim some music to fill in the gaps. But that was a sort of a good piece, and it became a stepping stone for how to do the comedy in a slightly different way, and how to do energy without getting in the way of things. and then yeah, we managed to get a theme fairly early on, and after that it was downhill, right?
No, and though there were little things like it was just even sometimes once you've had the discussion, the answer that comes out of it is automatically right. Like there's a scene in the restaurant where Paul and her are having this disastrous first date.
How you doing?
How are you doing?
Great.
Yeah?
Yep.
Well, treasure it.
And there's a moment when the camera says and the script says and everything that he falls in love, and basically I had always thought in musical cliches for that moment, and you said that should be a happy moment.
I know.
That should be an happy moment when
Right.
you fall in love. And it never occurred to me. It's just
Right, and that became contentious for a while. But I think happiness prevailed.
well, original should win over cliche
exactly,
in most slugfest.
Right,
I think that you hope that would happen.
You know, and for me, I mean, look, just as it was for you, I mean, it's a huge balancing act. I wrote a really beautiful piece, even though I say so myself, for when Reese breaks up with Owen. But I had to sort of temper it all back because it was going to go and ruin whatever
Yes,
the next
yeah,
moment is.
yeah,
So
yeah.
sometimes you just have to throw out your absolute favorite, most beautiful children. You know, and it's.
But and you know, for Hans is actor friendly too and character friendly, and you know, I think in Batman I just think the layers of character that happen in that picture are partly your devotion to the people playing it. You love love the actors. You were always talking about the actors when you did that with this big giant story and stuff.
Well, when I read a script, you know, and it doesn't matter if it's Batman Inception or one of Jim's scripts, I of course I read with the purpose of the task before me. So I try to, I go, okay, well, the actors will take care of this, or Janusz will light this beautifully, you know, or whatever that is. I don't have to deal with this. But what is my through line? What is the thing that, you know, why am I here? Why do we have music in this movie? I mean, it's not such a dumb question as you think.
Well, it's a question people stop asking when they're doing tentpole movies. It's a
Absolutely.
conversation.
Yeah.
I mean, you know,
No,
kidding.
you're right.
In all reality, you
Yeah.
keep a conversation alive, and that and it's like it's just exactly the same function this room serves.
Well, exactly. The reason for the room was always because I do think, first of all, I think music is a collaborative process. I think the operative word here is playing. The operative word is having musicians around you. You know, you play a tune and somebody picks it up and they change it a little bit, and suddenly something happens. Suddenly magic happens, and suddenly it becomes, it becomes a conversation without words in the best possible way, and sort of, if you have great musicians around you, you know, great sort of an emotional expression, which you can't get anywhere else.
So there is a belief system here that was designed into the place. There is a community here, so that when I come in here, I always feel like I'm showing pictures of my kids or something. I just feel this kind of pride in something that I just get to visit once in a while. But I feel this enormous pride of the spirit that is always alive and kicking here. And there's an enormous number of films that roll through here. I mean, do you have any idea how many films are scored here a year?
No.
It's something.
Nobody.
So you would think that a place that the place is preeminent in doing music from movies. You'd think that kind of place would have an antithetical atmosphere.
And really, the idea of this place is, at any one time, you have somebody who is the best at what they do available to help you realize these ideas. And not just that they are great professionals, but that they have great love and great enthusiasm for it. So we build a lot of the technology ourselves, because for each movie you have to, you have to try to think of something original.
And with all the long hours and all the pressure, I never have seen a shit fit here.
I sometimes want to go into a corner and just cry, but there are people here who know how to